We'll go Angelique, and then I saw Lee, and then Nate, I believe. Is it? Okay, go ahead, Angelique.
Jeff, I was sort of following up on those questions as well. To what do you owe the lack of respect? I mean, you guys have been racing with each other. Most of you have been racing with each other for a long time.
It's situational. If you look at the people that got into incidences, and then start looking at where everybody is in points, and it's not a coincidence that a lot of the people that are racing to get in the chase were involved in those situations. That's not a coincidence. It's an extremely competitive sport. There's a lot at stake. There's opportunity presented at a road course when you're running 60 mile an hour and the guy in front of you is running 30 because there's a corner he's got to make. There's an opportunity to make a move there. I don't think that it was just a genuine, well, I don't care about the guy in front of me. I think it was more of I'm willing to stick my nose in here even though I'm not real sure what the outcome's going to be. And I think it boils down to, this is a self-serving sport and everybody trying to go get what they can get.
Lee. Lee needs a microphone.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. 2 parts on that. A lot of people were saying how wild the restarts were, and the second, and what you could probably weigh in better than anybody. NASCAR said at the start of the season they were going to put it into y'all's hands and let you all do the policing on the racetrack, and according to your earlier statements, we probably didn't see that.
Well, we saw it. It was in the driver's hands. Now the question is, what are the drivers going to do about it? And that's the negative to have at it, boys. I mean, everything that we do has a positive and a negative. The negative is the second half of it, and the people that have had that decide, well, the way I'm going to make a stand is you're going to see it, and that's the negative of it. So I agree. I think that I don't want NASCAR policing. And by the way, as long as I've been in the sport, I can count on one hand, I think, the number of times the drivers have been penalized for rough driving. Matter of fact, I mean, I'd challenge all of you in here to give me 5 in the last 15 years. It'd be pretty hard for rough driving. So, the sport doesn't have a long history of penalizing drivers. Matter of fact, Ricky Rudd spinning out at Sonoma, Fellows, maybe? Is that who it was? Long time ago for the win on the last lap. That's the last time I remember it. And I'm not talking about some blatant under caution stuff. I'm talking about racing. So, in my eyes, it's always kind of been have at it, boys. I don't know that it's a whole lot different.
Nate, and then Mike. Mike, you'll have the final question. Go ahead, Nate.
Jeff, from racing and the nationwide, given what Danica's having to go through from going to Indy for a while, now coming back, what would make her run a success, and how difficult is that going from, completely different cars?
I think Danica's challenge is big. To go from the cars she's used to driving to these cars, I think, is a monumental task. She has been driving very high grip race cars. They make relatively they're very, very light race cars that make a tremendous amount of downforce. They to cars that are very low on downforce, have a very high center of gravity, have not near the tire with the tire that we really need to make maximum grip. I think it's a really, really hard road, and it will be a big challenge for her to continue to make that adjustment back and forth. I think that ultimately she'll have to make a decision, and that decision doesn't have to come now. It's perfectly fine for her to be exploring her options and looking around and seeing what she thinks, but ultimately she'll have to make a decision. What can I do both? Because it'd be very, very difficult it'd be easier for one of our drivers to go drive one of their cars because of the grip level. You would be going from a low grip vehicle to a high grip vehicle, and there's some margin for error in that. And I'm not saying what they do is easier. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's different. And so for her to have long-term, for her to have success, she's got to get in a seat for miles and miles and miles and miles, and learn all the things, all the buttons you got to push to make these cars go fast. And it's going to be hard for her to do that with a limited testing schedule available to her, with her IRL schedule, all those things. It's really going to be difficult for her just to pop over here and have success. I do want to say I admire her for trying. It takes a lot of guts to expose yourself in front of millions of people, in front of all the media, in front of all your peers. It takes a lot of guts to expose yourself to not maybe being as successful as you want to be. And the only way to know is to go try it. And, you know, if somebody came to me and said, hey, you want to run Texas in an IRL car? I'd say, hell no, I don't want to get embarrassed, you know. And she's doing that. And I have a lot of respect for that.
Wrap it up, Mike.
Okay, Mike Harris, RacingToday.com. Going back to the other subject, rough driving, are we likely to see more of the same at a track like New Hampshire, or is what we saw last week mostly because it was a road race and it set up certain situations? Well,
the situations are worse there because you've got the guys that are on the straights are going a whole lot faster than the guys that are making the 180-degree turns or the 120-degree turns. So you get a situation where the speed difference is greater, and that causes a lot of the issues. But again, like I said before, if the race for 7th to 20th, if the drivers can't show any more respect for each other than that, then it doesn't matter what racetrack you're on. You're going to see incidences. The challenge here is restarts. I think restarts here are extremely difficult. You'll see incidences on restarts. You know, and you mentioned double file restarts a bit ago about Sonoma. Actually, double file restarts have made Sonoma better on getting up on top of the hill. It's made it calmer. What it's done, it's moved the madness to turn 7. And but you know, this is aggressive racing. It's hard racing, and I think you'll see some of that this weekend.
Thank you, Jeff. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.